One of the big hurdles in learning calligraphy is learning how to read and write the Japanese and Chinese characters, the kanji. The kanji are notoriously difficult to read and write because they're so similar looking, and there are thousands of them. However, uh, because of this, oftentimes the people who teach Japanese have very low expectations for foreign learners of the language. For example, at the college where I teach, the first year, the first semester, students are expected to learn 80 characters. This corresponds to the characters that are taught to the elementary school kids in the first grade, 7-year-olds. And these characters are very simple. Some of them are like Ichi, ni, san, just one stroke, two strokes, three strokes. Yama looks like a mountain. Kuchi looks like a square or a mouth. They're very simple, and they're only 80, and they take 3 months to do that. Well, to me, that's notoriously slow. It's going to take you forever. You don't have 6 years. You got to graduate in 4, and you have to become fluent in the language before that. Well, some years ago, I met a genius named Dr. James Heisig, who had created a method called Remembering the Kanji. Now, Dr. Heisig did not know how to read or write Japanese, and he came to Japan for 2 years to teach actually religion and philosophy at a university here. Well, they offered him Japanese language lessons so he could go shopping and just do simple daily chores. But he wanted to read the sutras in Chinese. And they said, oh, no, it's impossible. You can't, there's no way you can do that. So he said, well, if you're not going to teach me, I'll teach myself. And he devised a brilliant system for learning how to read and write the characters in a short time. And in fact, he proved it by doing it himself. He learned how to read and write 2,000 characters in just 1 month. Now, nobody believed him until they tested him and realized he could do it. And his Japanese teachers told him, you stop that. Don't tell others about it. This is the devil's method. You have a photographic memory and it's not going to work for others. He says, it's too late. I've already distributed flashcards to all my friends. Well, in time, the wiser minds prevailed and a publisher got hold of it and produced this book called Remembering the Kanji. There's now an app for it, and it's become the sort of the most famous method in the world for learning how to read and write the characters. Now, not necessarily how to pronounce them. That's a whole nother thing. You're not going to be fluent in Japanese after 1 month. But I've tested this with my own students at the university, from students with over 40 countries who start from scratch. And in the same period of 3 months where their classmates are learning 80 characters, they learn on an average of 250, and some of them even up to 500 characters. That's to read and write from memory without looking at any notes. It's quite remarkable. And Dr. Heisig created these keywords for the radicals, the parts of the kanji, and also for the kanji themselves. And these can be strung together in sentence form. Now, I'm going to show you an example. Later, I'll show you up close the notebook that my students have done. It's quite remarkable, these illustrations. And I think that's why they were so effective. But first of all, there's an online course, an online site called Kanshudo, which I've opened up here. And I've taken 4 characters, the same 4 characters that you will find on this page that I'll show you a little bit later. And I've put them in here. Now, this is a subscription site. It's quite inexpensive, actually, and I think you even get a free trial period. It's well worth it if you're serious about learning the kanji. And you see how it breaks it down. If you're logged in, you can see how it breaks down. The character to learn is made of the radicals for white and feathers. So the white feathers help you learn. They even break it down further. White is, this stroke means whereupon the sun makes things white. And so they break it down to the atomic level. And then this is picture of feathers. So the white feathers help you learn. Electricity, this is the radical for electricity in the rain. And so that represents the meaning of the word electricity. And rain looks like rain under an umbrella. And so you have this form. And then this one, atater, to give you give a small yo when you hit. So small, this means small, this means yo. It's the katakana for yo. And then the last one here is tsumu, or tsumoru, to pile up, and made of the grain and torture. The grain is torture to load. So grain, this looks like some sheaf of grain of rice bound together. And then this means torture, to blame, to accuse. And it's made of the parts of shellfish with the master. So the shellfish is 8 eyes, belong to the shellfish. And then the master. So the sentence to remember it is the grain is torture to load. Now, these are example sentences. They are not the only way to do this, but if you struggle to come up with your own original sentences, these can be quite useful. Now, what I've encouraged my students to do is take these keywords and write them with a 3-color pen, which you see here, and write them out and coding with an illustration, this original, that's different from the Heisig method. He doesn't use illustrations. And you make a story and then you present it. So this is a notebook which my students have made for me, and they just kept adding to it. And I would have them also write these stories on the whiteboard and present it. And it's actually quite a lot of fun. So what I'm going to do now is shift to another camera and see if I can show you this up close. So let's see. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share screen and go to this camera. Now, this you can see up close here. This is the first character that we looked at a moment ago, to learn. So it has white and feather. And this student made a very clever little drawing here. And she said, whenever I want to learn kanji, I write with white paper of a feather pen. It was a quite beautiful nice little compact illustration. This one for electricity, you see these samurai swimming in the water, and then these little bolts of electricity that are electrocuting them. And it's a combination of rain and then this one looks like a stingray. That's a little different from the Heisig one, but it says when it rains, then the stingray lights up and generates electricity. It was stinging, so these guys are being stung by the stingray. I guess they're samurai. They look like samurai swimming in the water. And then this one, it shows somebody being hit. And I encourage them to do it in 3 colors, because one color is monotone, that is monotonous, boring. So with 3 colors, kind of interests the brain and wakes it up. So you have here small, and then this was yo in the other one, but it's a strike. So when somebody being hit with a little broom that looks like a broom. So a little broom hit me. So that's that one. And then this last one shows a silo, and it says rich people only. And then you have the grain and then torture. So the sentence is an original sentence made by this student from England. By the way, this guy managed to learn 500 characters in just 3 months. Quite remarkable. When the rich accumulate lots of grain during a drought, it is like torture for the poor. So notice how the keywords are color-coded, and then the illustration is original, and then these would be presented to the class with on the whiteboard. So that's just a sample. I mean, I did literally hundreds of these. And if you are interested in learning kanji as part of the membership, I'm going to include the method, because I wrote an academic paper on it. And you can actually practice, and it's really quite a great way to develop your imagination, have fun learning kanji, learn some right brain thinking, and make some serious progress, and then becoming more familiar with how the kanji are structured. So I hope this was useful to you, and I will see you then in the next video.